Hi everyone, welcome back. It is another Freaky Friday, stuff that freaks me out. I'm not even sure if you can tell what's going on in your face. No need to adjust your screen. Yes, it is some paper with some ink and tape. So I'm using this lady again, Princess Alexis, not Alexa, Princess Alexis, and I colored her up this week. I must admit, I am not too thrilled with how it came out, but you know what? It's okay. I colored her up for my 100-day project, and she was Monday or Tuesday, I think, and it was just not pretty. So I said, you know what? Your Freaky Friday episode is coming up. You need to try and do this again because she really looks like a watercolor. I don't know if she's watercolor now, but you see, like right here, it looks watery. It just looks like they kind of etched it, drew it out, and then, you know, played around with the color. So that's what I'm going to do today. Yes, I'm doing some watercoloring. So before I jump off the cliff, we're going to be using this Staedtler watercolor markers, and it says just add water. I read the back. Light sketch, lightly color for darker. It's so pretty. These are professional people that are doing this. Trong Nguyen. It says illustration by Trong Nguyen. I hope that's how you pronounce his or her name. You know, wonderful job. A koi fish, great. I'm using these Pinelli paint brushes. It says for watercolor, acrylics, and tempera. I don't know. You know, I don't know which pencil to use. These are fairly inexpensive paint brushes. I got them from Ross a long time ago. But in my head, I don't think that I would invest a lot of money into watercolor anything because I'm not, you know, that's not one of the things, that's not my bag, right? As the young people say. I'm going to go ahead and pick out some colors. I've been into taking a purple and a blue, or a purple or a pink, and then kind of coloring in. So I'm going to probably do the same thing that I've been doing, you know, like kind of mixing the colors. But with watercoloring, I feel like I might be in trouble. So we have these, and they're triangle-based watercolor pencils. So we'll see what's going on with that really quickly. Okay, so I pulled out, let's talk about these first. I pulled out these 5 colors. Green for the leaves, blue for this pinky purple color. This peachy color, I'm going to try to go for the skin tone, and then yellow, I think I'm going to make these flowers yellow. So I did some research. I read the back, and they said for watercolor pencils, you should, and I did not bring my water brush. I just brought these, so I hope that I'm able to, you know, that. I think my issue with watercolor pencils, well, watercolor brushes or brushes in general, is that I tend to want to control it. Like I want to, you know, control where I think that once I put down the pigment, I'm supposed to kind of let it flow, and I can't release the control of a pencil. Okay, so this paper, let's talk about the paper. It's Canson Mixed Media. I know you guys are thinking, Brandy, that's not real watercolor. I know it's not quote unquote watercolor, but it says acrylic watercolor pen and pencil. So it's a mixture, and it's only 98 pounds, which I'm kind of nervous about. But, you know, we're going to be okay. This will not kill me. It will not be the end of my creativity. It'll just be a little, you know, learning. So let's put the blue back. I mean, the blue is just here for show because it's blue, right? Let's do a real color. So I did some research. I read the back of the box, and I did some quick Googling, YouTubing. And whenever you're using the watercolor pencils, you can do two or 3 ways, I guess. The way that I saw it first is you can line it out. Like if you're going to draw a picture, you can just draw the picture out. Or you can color in where you want it to be. And we're going to try to do this way. So I'm going to color in. I wish I would have got my water brush because I think that would be a lot easier for me. And I hope y'all can see. Hopefully this is not a burning bus of any sort. But I'm going to color this up, and I'm not coloring too heavy. And what I have behind here to kind of protect the desk in case, I've seen all the people like tape theirs down with, what is it, painter's tape and stuff like that. I just have some washi tape because I have so much of it. I mean, you know, and this is like a little plastic thing on the back. So yes, I am coloring heavy-handedly in some of the spots and then lighter in other spots. And what I think I'm going to do after I've colored in all the places that I want to be a certain color, I'm going to take the water brush, the water paint brush, and just drag the water over it. I also watched someone that did a wet painting, but I was like, no, 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 no. And I don't want to put too much of a dark indentation. I've done watercoloring before. Everything that I am attempting is something that I just feel like I could improve on, or I absolutely do not like it terrifies me. And I have, you know, I've received some friend mail, and I got more watercolor stuff in the friend mail. So, you know, sometimes your friends will force you to do things you really don't want to do. At least my friends do. All of the people I know that I consider to be my crafty friends, they're always challenging my mental creativity to just go forward and just, you know, be better than I was yesterday. Sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, why would she do that to me? I mean, come on. I can't. You know, and then when I think about it, I really can do it. I just don't want to because I'm afraid of what may happen. But sometimes you got to throw caution out the wind, and you just got to go for it. I'm trying to color all my little berries, and I'm just putting a little dab in because I think I want these to be light versus dark. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do a mixture of this with blue. See, blue is going to actually do some work besides just sitting there looking handsome. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. What I'm doing, I don't know. So today is Good Friday. I try to record these videos ahead of time when I can, but you know, today is this week, this month. I don't know what's going on with Brandy. She has been just out there lately. So I'm just doing my normal thing, and I probably can't really do a normal thing with watercolors, but I'm attempting it. And now I'm going to go in with this green because I see that I missed a leaf. And then I'm going to go in with this yellow first because I feel like I want to make this flower yellow. And I am going to just kind of color it around. Now I'm kind of cautious with this yellow and this purple because, you know, yellow and red kind of mix orange. And I don't mind having an orange flower, but that's really not the intent. The intent is definitely to make it look kind of watercolored. So I'm not going to even try to color it all up. I hope that makes sense to y'all. And I'm going to do this stamen, I guess. The center. I forgot what I was talking about besides coloring this up. And I'm going to do those yellow. And then I left out the skin tone, but I mean the hair color and all of that because I'm really nervous. The marker that I used to color this lady this week was so atrocious. When I tell you that it was unattractive, it was unattractive. I was like, Brandy. And I just went with it. And you know, sometimes I watched a video, one of the ladies I'm subscribed to, she's an artist, like she paints. And she showed a creation that she made. She's like, I wasn't in a good headspace, and this is the result. And you could see, like she was saying, that you could see that it was not the best. I was like, it looks good to me. But I think that sometimes when you're not in a good mental space, some of your work will come out looking horrible. And I guess I was a victim of that with this lady. So this is my actual second attempt at coloring her up. But this is a watercolor. So I go from ugly alcohol ink coloring her to hopefully redeeming myself with something that I'm fearful of, which is watercoloring. Way to just take the bull by the horns and ride it like a cowboy, right? So let's see. I think I'm going to leave this alone for now, the skin, and we're going to go ahead and dip this one in. I do like I do like these little fine points. I don't know if these are the good, good points or not. I do have two different watercolor, two different water buckets, I guess you could say. And here we go. See, I don't want it to be neat, and as you can see, I'm trying to color it all. I would call it being fancy, and I don't want to be too fancy with it. I just want to, I got the color down in the spots that I thought would be good spots to have the color in. And now you see this pink or purple, it has kind of lost its way. And this is just a wet brush that I've wiped off with a napkin, because I've seen people do that. Not that I know why. I mean, I know this to get the water off, but I'm just here for the fun. I also saw someone dip the color pencil directly into the water, and they were like, if you want a thick line, you could do that. And I was just like, interesting, because I've watched videos where other people have done that, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm just going to color this in a little bit since it is wet, and I feel like that's going to give it a little bit more of what I'm going for. See, this paper's starting to bow, so I know that I can't really use this for anything much next time. I do have a watercolor pad, but I don't know where I placed it. I'm not sure if I put it in a box or not. I'm just going over it with that. So I'll have to stop at the store. I went to Joann Fabric yesterday. And I don't even remember why I really went there. Like, I didn't have a true purpose. I just wanted to go. I hadn't been since last week. And I didn't get anything, because I was, whatever I was looking for mentally, I didn't find it. So I left out empty-handed. And then we also went to Tuesday morning, left out empty-handed as well, which I'm okay with that. Just because you go to the store, and I'm not telling you all this, but I have to tell myself that sometimes you don't have to get something just because you go in the store. I told my friend that. She was like, yeah, it's good for you. I said, I'll be back tomorrow though. And she just started laughing, via text. All right. I was looking for something at Tuesday morning and they didn't have it. I think I was looking for, so I'm just dragging this over this green now. I probably could have put the colors down a little bit deeper if I had known what I was doing. Maybe I would have, but learn as you go sometimes. I like it. It's coming out okay so far. So that's how it's looking. And now we're going to move on to this other flower. And I do want these to kind of marry into each other, kind of, but it's not working out the way I want it to work out. I think I need to add more color because it's so light. Yeah, it's very light. And if you can tell, the paper is starting to kind of fold over a little because it's truly not watercolor paper. So I may have to stop at Michael's today. Maybe not, we'll see. On holiday weekends and when it's special events going on around town, I try not to get out in the city because these people, are rude and crazy. I got a message from, I went to the thrift store yesterday. I'm always at the thrift store looking for thrifty items. I love how that yellow and green are coming out very pretty, in my opinion. But they were like, yeah, we're having a sale. I said, I will not be at that sale because people run you over. Like, I don't know what's wrong with us as Americans. I don't know about other countries, but we'll run you over for 50 cents. Like if someone sees a basket of, like I was looking at the clearance rack in Joann yesterday for the paper and they just have it right at the front. I guess they've sold all of it. And they had some paper pads that had some, what is it? Shiny wood, I think it was called, or the wood. I don't know. Something wood, and it was shiny paper. And I was like, I really don't want any, you know, treated wood paper like that. I am going to take the color, the blue color a little bit, and also the pink purple color, and go back over this just a little bit right here. So I'm just going to color that in. And my main goal, I guess, is to just make sure it looks pretty decent, which is doing okay so far. But I don't want to have any, like right here, I don't want it to be just my color pencil. I do want it to look like I consciously try to blend it in. This paper is so crappy. I will see if Michael's has like a buy one, get one or something like that. Because that's how I usually get the papers that I don't normally buy. Like, you know, the hot buys, I'm all about the hot buys. Even though I haven't bought a hot buy in a while from Michael's, I was just like, But a lot of people are showing or saying what they've got, and I'm just like, oh, that would be so cool. But I just haven't had a strong desire to go and get it. And they're having construction right across the street from the Michael's, the new Michael's. So it's so hard to, like, you have to go down and then make a U-turn. So I'm just going over this hair. I think the yellow is always kind of vibrant in my opinion. I do love yellow, the color, how it pops out and kind of, I don't know, so bright. Whenever you have like a lighter color yellow, and you all know that sometimes my yellows are not that bright. So I'm going to try to use all the water off of this paintbrush and see. I like it so far. I feel like this is kind of easy to do versus how I had imagined it in my head being. So we're, you know, we're not on fire yet. We're not ablaze, anything. Doing pretty good. But this is simple. See, I went out the line right there. I guess it's not a major big deal that I went out the line. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. The one I did for my aunt, I made it. I'm going to give it to her when she comes to visit me. We'll see though. We'll see if she likes it. If she doesn't like it, then I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Scrap it, I guess. I don't know. These little berries. Let's see. I don't think I'm going to give her like any makeup because, you know, if I was to do that, I'd probably just use a regular color pencil because I'm all about cheating sometimes, I guess. I do know that some people talk about their paintbrushes, you know, like I guess the inexpensive ones like this one, some of the hairs will start to shed out. So if you're interested in actual watercoloring and this is your first time watching it, I would suggest you invest in something a little bit more high quality. Maybe go to the local craft store, and you know, it's a category like if you ever purchase tires or a battery, they have good, best, better, good, better, best, good, better, best. Yep. Get the better, and then when you can afford it, get the top of the line if you've learned it and you actually like it. But if you're gonna, you know, like if you're serious about it, like I don't think I'm too serious about watercoloring, honestly. I do think that I should be able to do a little bit of something. I am going to go over this because I want these to be a little bit darker. And since the paper is wet in those spots, it's picking up the pigment off the pencil very nicely. I may retry this again, you know, on another Freaky Friday when I get better paper, maybe, to see, like actual watercolor paper. I just find, and this is the cheap side coming out, watercolor for me is not something that I really want to invest in because I don't do it enough to really say, yes, I want to be a watercolorist. I feel like if I was actually into watercoloring, hands down, no problem, I would definitely get it. But since I'm not, see, I love how that's just so much darker. And I'm going to do that a little bit with the yellow as well. Just color over it in some spots. And then I'm going to take the brush and just kind of drag it back over. This flower is oddly placed in my opinion. Even when I was coloring it up, just like that's an odd place. Let me show you this unattractive piece. So this is the piece that I made earlier in the week. So I don't know what was going on with my color pencil. Like right here she looks okay, right? But this right here, her back is just so, So I could take a stamp or something and put it across, like a little piece of paper maybe, to try and fix that. Like something like that. But I don't know. I'm going to ask my aunt what she thinks of it. I really love this. I'll do that again at a later date. But right now we're focusing on watercoloring. This is like a start to finish project. So I'm hoping you all have enjoyed that. And I'm just going to kind of go a little bit crazy on that one. Let's see. Yep, I don't think I took out the fine tip one. So the next time you see a Freaky Friday video, we'll see what it is, what it's about. I don't know. I was thinking, a few things really freak me out. Watercoloring is one. I don't want to say junk journals, but just in my mind, creating a junk journal kind of freaks me out. I am going to color her lips because I feel like I'm confident in making her lips a different color. And that's some ugly coloring right there. And then I'm just going to I'm going to color these really harshly, the lines on her body, because I think I'm going to have to drag. They gave her freckles. Isn't it awesome? I definitely thought of myself when I started when I saw her, because I have a lot of moles in my face, moles and freckles. It's so crazy. And my son, well, his dad has a lot of freckles in his face, lots of freckles. I call them chocolate chips because there's so many. And our son was born smooth, like nothing on his body, except for the quote-unquote birthmark that's no longer there. So it wasn't really a birthmark, in my opinion. I think it was just some bruising from the birth. But what do I know? I'm not a doctor. I think I don't even know what it was called, but there was like a Mongo something, in the black community, African American community, whatever you want to call it. We call them birthmarks. I'm quite sure everyone calls them well, I can't say everyone, but birthmarks. But I guess it's a scientific. You see how I'm just dragging that color out? Because I did color it very harsh, those lines harsh. I guess I want to show those lines on her body versus not showing those lines. And I am going to wet my brush a little bit more, and I'm just going to wet this up, the spot that's not colored in, and I'm going to try my best to drag it over. It is some wonderful watercolorists on here. One of the people that I always think about is the Frugal Crafter. She's an amazing artist, and you all know that I always say that she's very inspirational. I think she's inspirational to anyone that watches her. If she's talking about regular everyday craft stuff, or if she's showing you a new technique or showing you how to stamp something, I just find that she's very knowledgeable. But she's not the only one on here that does amazing art and watercoloring. I don't tend to watch a lot of people watercolor because I have well, I can't say zero because I have a lot of watercolor. But I guess I had no real interest because I didn't know, I wasn't educated enough on it. And I still feel like, I could probably stand to watch about 1,000 videos and still not be truly educated on it. But I like how I love that I did that because it's, I I like it a lot. I think I'm gonna try to pull that gray. I think it was a gray color in there, and I may try to do her dressing gray. I don't know, but I like how it's coming out. Unfortunately, the paper is bowing some. I know that sometimes when I've used regular watercolor paper, like designed for watercoloring, it has done that, but I feel like this is just a little bit over the top with it. So you can see like right here. And I did apply a lot of water in that spot. I feel like Prima set me up. Okay. They set me up for this beautiful stamp. That's a lot of water, Brandy. Don't put too much water, especially when you know your paper is not really, you know, this is a mixed paper. It's not really designed for only watercolor. It's designed for a lot of stuff. So if it was watercolor, you know, it'd be more dedicated to what you're doing, which is wetting the paper and putting ink and pigments on there. Just trying to get this over some. I'm going to try to leave those lines defined as best as possible, besides those little lines that I just colored right there. Then let's go ahead and do her face. I do like this. I do like it. Like, I'm in love with it. This definitely makes me feel like I could probably do some other watercoloring. Because I was going to do a flower. I was like, no, let's, you know, I'm in Texas. Go big or go home. Because even if I fail at this project, I'm still, you know, I'm still going to show you guys what I did. Just because I don't mind showing my fails. You can't always have a win. Because then you get too cocky with your creations. You're like, oh, I've never done this and I've never done that. And so when you do fall, you fall extremely hard. And sometimes it's hard to recover from that falling. So I have been there before where I thought, you know, I was invincible. But that's when I was younger and didn't realize that life was not about me and the world didn't revolve just around Brandy. So I'm going to go here because I did not put much in her cheeks. I love those freckles so much. Someone drew like a little caricature of me a couple of years ago. And even when I went to New York for the first time, it was so interesting because the artist there, I have a big head. He gave me a giant chin and a lot of freckles. And then the person that drew me a couple of years ago, same thing, because I have a big head, right? But he gave me a more feminine chin this time versus the guy in New York, and freckles. So let's go ahead and get the color out for her hair and her dress. Okay, so we're going to do brown hair, or this color hair. And it's so cool. They have a little watercolor brush to show you that they're watercolor. But they don't have a number or a name on here. I don't understand that. That will always be my gripe about these, because they are fairly good for whatever grade that these pencils are. I'm not sure if they're, I don't know if they're artist grade, because I think artists use colors, right? You know, I don't know. I would think that artists would use colors on their creations. And I'm darkening, like I did the skin, I'm putting dark spots in on her hair, especially the lines. Just because I feel like that may work better for me to kind of get in these little nooks and crannies. You know, we're almost at the home stretch. Don't mess it up, right? Because it's looking pretty good. Like, I like it. I like it a lot. So this will be actually my, I don't know what day it is. Like day 18? No, today. Yeah, I think today is my day 18 project. So I will definitely use this as my day 18 for the Facebook group. And I am going to, again, drag these lines so we can have some detailing in this cute little dress that you can peek down and see stuff. I don't know if I would wear a dress like that. Maybe this is her nightgown. Or, no, it gotta be a nightgown, right? And it's Mother's Day and she got flowers from her honey. I don't know. She has all that crap in her hair, so who knows? Who knows? Brandy doesn't. I also think that you could change your paintbrush to give yourself more, I don't like gray. I do not like the gray, how it came out. Maybe I didn't darken it up enough. I just don't like it. I like the color gray, just not on this project. Maybe if I, okay, let's see. If I rub it down some more, I can get the, I think I was going more for a darker gray. So maybe that's why. So maybe that is why. Do you have someone in your family that embarrasses the crap out of you? Or are you that person? Just thinking, I had an image in my head about something, and it was not a bad thought, but it was not a good situation that the image was from. And I was just thinking, you know, family is so embarrassing at times. I remember when I was growing up, my mom was always that person that you're like, oh Lord, here she comes, you know, when I was growing up. And so people had a lot of pity on me, like they felt really bad and sorry for me, but no one did anything to get me out of the situation. So as I've gotten older and I've, you know, accomplished things that maybe the family didn't think that I was going to accomplish, my aunt always says, so and so has asked about you. And I'm like, well, they didn't ask about me when I was, you know, going through, when I was in the trenches, in the struggle. But now that my mother's gone, you know, people tend to do one or two things with the dead. Embrace them and say, oh, well, they were misguided, or they trashed them. It's never like a in-between type of thing when people are, you know, judging a person. And, you know, my mom and I didn't like her for a long time, you know, honestly. I guess when I came a little bit more older, in my teen years, I was just like, this lady, what's wrong with her? But as I became more mature and actually a woman myself, I was just like, judge much, you know, like judgment much, because she did, you know, she did the best she could. And I haven't killed anyone. I didn't, you know, have been to prison, anything like that. So I think she did pretty good overall, you know. Of course, I told her that. I used to always tease her, though. She's like, I did pretty good. I'm like, I don't know. Because I think again, like I said before, we're looking for validation from our children. I don't look for validation from my little one yet. Hopefully I won't need to have him validate that I gave him a good life. Because even sometimes when you give your kids good lives, they still feel like you didn't give them, you know, you gave them the world, but shoot, they wanted Mars, Venus, Saturn, Pluto, everything. And sometimes that's not realistic. And I think once they become parents, you realize that life is not all about getting that Barbie doll or the latest video game or the newest sneakers and everything like that. Because even rich people struggle to satisfy their children. And I really don't want my son to be completely satisfied with stuff. I want him to always kind of be like, I may not get that. Like we went to Tuesday morning to look for some trains. And I'm always like, if you're not going to be a good boy, you can't get it. And he's like, okay. So I said, if I have to tell you one time not to do this, but he's 3, okay? So I know that he's going to need to be told about 1,000,000 times not to do something. Her hair's looking pretty good too. It was shaky at the very beginning, so I was nervous, but you know, we're doing pretty good. So, you know, I was like, we can't get it today, okay? And some of the toys that he really wants to get that are Thomas, I'm just like, no, that's a waste of money in my opinion. And you know, he doesn't understand what waste of money is, because a lot of the junk that I buy him is honestly a waste of money. Especially when, well, he plays with his trains. Most of the stuff that he plays with, he's a repeat offender when it comes to playing with it. Some kids, you know, you get them things and they don't play with it a lot. But he's been playing with his train since Christmas, so I think we're doing pretty good. I was talking to Barry Crafton, and she was like, well, the next thing would be dinosaurs. I was like, great. But he's already, you know, he liked dinosaurs before, which I'm glad, because I had already had a bag of dinosaurs that he could play with, which is good. I don't really want to go out and invest any more money in a lot of these toys, because I can go overboard with it. So it's not his fault when it comes to certain things. I think I missed these areas, so I'm going to go back in and do that. All right, so this is how she looks. I think we did a pretty good job on her. I wanted her skin to be a little bit dark, like, well, not dark, but those lines to be like that. So I like it overall. I probably could improve on these flowers a little bit, but for the most part, I love it. I have zero complaints. I want to say thank you all for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this adventure that we went on, watercoloring. Until next time, happy crafting.